how to draw a face that truly looks like your reference. If you've ever tried to draw the face of someone you know well or someone very famous, you know how it is. Even the smallest difference becomes noticeable right away. Getting a good likeness starts long before the details. It starts with structure. In this portrait, her head is slightly tilted downward. That's why I traced those curved guidelines along the ear, the eyebrow, and the base of the nose. The mouth follows the same curve. And it's important to remember that when the head tilts, all the main alignments, eyes, eyebrows, nose, and mouth, need to follow that same direction. This internal consistency is what prevents distortion and keeps the face looking natural. Here, I've already advanced a bit and filled in much of the skin tones. I've defined the eyelid contours, the eye area, and the diagonal angle of the eyebrows, which are thin and tapered, a strong characteristic of hers. And you can see the influence of the head turning slightly to the left. This requires careful attention to the position of the iris and the pupil in relation to the eyelids. Her eye shape is balanced, not too round and not too narrow. And under this lighting, the color of the iris appears quite light, while the eyelashes are relatively fine, matching the shape of the eyebrows. When shading the skin in general, you have to work as if you were drawing on a cylindrical surface, always filling a rounded form. This is especially useful in her case, because she has smooth curves around the temples and brow ridge. When the face is well lit, you should work with very soft transitions. The nose is narrow and its proportion fits well within the space between the eyes. The bridge is very subtle, and that requires care, so the shading doesn't get too heavy. The challenge is working with enough subtlety to keep the height and transitions accurate. The center, bridge, and sides appear a bit straighter, while the tip has very rounded forms. In addition, the more frontal lighting creates a short shadow on the side, so the shading needs to be extremely soft and detailed in a small area to create depth without exaggeration. The corners of the mouth line up well with the iris, but the tilt of the mouth has to follow the tilt of the head. I started by defining the separation between the two lips. Then the main challenge was capturing the wave-like rhythm of her lips, especially the upper lip, and getting the proportion right. The lower lip looks larger at first, but when you study the measurements carefully, you realize it's not a matter of size, it's a matter of shape. The lips are one of her most recognizable features, so they depend on precise small adjustments, texture, curves, and clean edges. To finish, I filled in the short shadow along the side of the face, which is very thin and helps shape the contour with softness. The jawline also follows the direction of the tilt. If it stays straight while the rest of the face curves, the portrait loses coherence. To conclude, likeness doesn't depend on one single detail, but on many small adjustments working together throughout the entire drawing. Learn how to draw facial proportions in my course. The link is in my bio. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.